lets anyone leave awake. Welcome to tonight's true scary story. This is Whispers of Blackridge College, a terrifying 15-part horror journey into a cursed cabin where shadows don't just follow, they choose who stays forever. Title: Whispers of Blackridge College. Genre: horror, suspense, mystery. Structure: 15 parts. Setting: Appalachian Mountains. USA theme: college friends on a deadly. Cursed trip characters: Emma, Tyler, Rachel, Nick, Sarah. Part 1. The trip begins. It was supposed to be the perfect getaway. A remote weekend cabin in the Appalachian Mountains. No classes, no stress. Just 5 college seniors enjoying their final semester together. Emma, the careful planner. Tyler, the jokester. Rachel, the skeptic. Nick, the quiet one. And Sarah, always anxious yet curious. As their SUV rolled up the rocky dirt path to the cabin, the golden sun dipped behind the trees, casting long, claw-like shadows across the forest floor. The cabin stood alone, aged, creaking with time, its windows black like hollow eyes. No cell signal. Emma frowned, holding up her phone. That's the point. Nature, remember? Tyler grinned. But as the group entered the cabin, a sudden gust of cold air brushed past them. The door creaked shut on its own. They laughed nervously, unaware that the first lock on their fate had just clicked shut behind them. Part 2. The note beneath the bed. Emma woke early the next morning, disturbed by a sense of unease. As she bent to tie her shoelaces, something caught her eye beneath the bed, in old, yellowed paper. She pulled it out. Faded words scribbled in a trembling hand. Read, "Don't let the shadows in." Her heart skipped. She showed it to the others during breakfast. Creepy. Who even writes this stuff? Nick muttered. Sarah clutched her coffee tighter, visibly shaken. Rachel rolled her eyes, brushing it off as leftover junk from past renters. But that night, strange scratching echoed from the roof above. Low, dragging sounds like claws moving against wood. Probably raccoons, Tyler said, but even he looked uneasy. As they tried to sleep, something shifted in the shadows. Something that didn't belong to the forest. Something that watched. Part 3. The vanishing door. Nick awoke thirsty in the middle of the night and headed for the kitchen. When he returned, the front door where it always was gone. In its place, a solid wall stood, as if the door had never existed. His throat tightened. He touched the wall. It was cold and real. He yelled for the others. Confused and groggy, they stumbled out of their rooms. What kind of prank is this? Rachel asked. Tyler searched with a flashlight, growing pale. This isn't a joke. They checked every window, every side of the house. But outside was just thick, unnatural fog. Trees were barely silhouettes. Emma whispered, "We're trapped." Sarah began to cry. Nick, silent, stared at where the door should have been, certain now that something had changed the rules of this place, and they were no longer visitors, but prisoners. Part 4. The laughing mirror. Later that day, Sarah found a cracked antique mirror in one of the upstairs bedrooms. Its frame was ornate, carved with roses that had long since faded. She looked into it and froze. Her reflection smiled back, but she wasn't smiling. Her mirrored self blinked slowly, unnaturally, and then tilted its head. Terrified, she screamed. The others rushed in, only to see her pointing at the mirror, just reflecting her normal self. Rachel reached out to touch the glass. A jolt surged through her fingers like static shock, but worse. "We need to cover it," Emma said. As Tyler threw a cloth over it, it caught fire instantly, burning black flame without smoke. They backed away. The mirror remained untouched. That night, every creak in the floor sounded like a whisper. Sarah didn't sleep. In the mirror, her reflection still grinned. Part 5. Sleep paralysis. The next morning, Emma was the only one awake. Everyone else was lying in their beds, eyes wide open but frozen. Their chests rose and fell in shallow breaths. She shook them, yelled their names. Nothing. A low hum filled the cabin, growing louder, then falling into silence. Suddenly, all four sat up at once. Sarah burst into sobs. "I saw something. It stood over me, ... whispering, but I couldn't move." Tyler, pale, nodded. "Same. I thought I was dying." Nick added, "It said, 'Let them sleep forever.' No one could explain it." That night, no one dared to close their eyes. But the cabin wanted them tired. It wanted them vulnerable, and sleep was no longer rested, was bait. Part 6. The hidden door and their desperate search for answers. they found a trapdoor beneath an old rug in the living room. It was locked, rusted shut. Tyler pried it open with a crowbar. Dust and darkness greeted them. A ladder led into blackness. With flashlights trembling, they descended. The air was damp and cold. At the bottom, a long hallway of stone with an arched wooden door. Scratched on it were the words, enter to end or stay to begin. What does that mean? Emma whispered. Nick stepped forward but hesitated. Rachel turned back, but the trapdoor above had vanished, gone. We go forward now, Emma said, her voice trembling. And forward they went into a hallway where time and logic began to unravel. Part 7, Reflections That Follow. The hallway led to a room lined with mirrors tall, old, distorted. At first, they saw only themselves. Then each reflection began to move independently. Emma's reflection looked afraid. Tyler's laughed manically. Sarah's bled from her eyes. One by one, the reflections began tapping from inside the glass. Tap, tap, louder, tap. Nick smashed his mirror in panic. The room trembled. Real selves were thrown back and the mirrors cracked. Rachel saw her reflection smile one last time, then vanish. The air turned cold. Something had escaped those mirrors, something that now lingered unseen. Part 8, The Voice in the Wall That Night. Rachel heard her name whispered from the wall. Soft at first, then urgent. She pressed her ear to the wood. Rachel, come outside. Her hand moved on its own toward the doorknob, but Emma stopped her. Don't listen. A loud bang rocked the cabin. Every door slammed shut. Tyler lit candles. The shadows on the walls started to move independently, no longer matching their bodies. One shadow lingered behind Sarah, taller than her arms too long. She turned nothing. They're here, Nick whispered, and they want in. Part 9, Rachel is taken in the early morning. Rachel was gone. Her bed empty, her shoes still by the door. A trail of wet footprints led into the basement. Emma and Tyler followed, calling her name. The basement was freezing. In the corner, they found her scarf torn and blood-stained. Sarah clutched her mouth, unable to scream. On the stone wall, written in what looked like blood, one by one, they sleep. Tyler yelled Rachel's name, but only his echo returned. Something moved behind the shadows, laughing. Not human. Emma pulled him back. We're being hunted. We need to survive. Part 10, The Journal of Eliza back upstairs. Nick found a hidden drawer in an old desk. Inside was a journal, fragile with age. It belonged to a girl named Eliza, dated 1965. She wrote about the same cabin, how she came with friends who vanished one by one. She warned, the cabin is cursed. Shadows feed on sleep. If you fall asleep inside, you become one of them. The final page, I haven't slept in 3 days. They whisper constantly now. If I close my eyes. The ink trailed off. Emma stared at it. We have to stay awake, no matter what. Part 11, The Tunnel of Eyes. Sarah discovered a narrow tunnel behind the fireplace. They crawled in one by one, flashlights flickering. The walls were carved with hundreds of eyes wide, watching. Who made this? Sarah whispered. A whisper answered, we see you. They sped up. At the end of the tunnel was another door, nailed shut. Tyler ripped it open, revealing a steep staircase spiraling downward into red light. Emma hesitated. This may be our only way out. They descended slowly, never noticing the eyes on the walls begin to blink. Part 12, A Deadly Bargain. At the staircase's end was a room with symbols etched into the floor. In its center, a mirror, just like before. But this one showed Rachel, alive but crying. Help me, she mouthed. Sarah moved toward it, entranced. The mirror whispered, trade. One soul for another. Sarah reached out, but Tyler stopped her. It's lying. But Sarah broke free. She touched the mirror and vanished. Rachel collapsed out of the glass, coughing, but her eyes weren't the same. Emma saw it. Rachel wasn't fully Rachel anymore. Part 30, The Return Door. Emma noticed something strange. Where the front door once was, it had returned. Whole. Tyler moved to open it, but Rachel stood in the way. You can't leave, she said, voice distorted. Nick lit a lantern. Shadows recoiled from Rachel. She screamed, covering her face. Her reflection on the window showed a hollow-eyed shadow. She's one of them, Emma cried. Rachel lunged at them, screaming. Tyler tackled her. Go. Emma and Nick ran through the door into blinding daylight. Part 14, Normal Isn't Normal. They were back at Blackridge College. Students walked around, classes resumed. Everything looked normal. But Emma noticed people didn't blink. Nick's reflection in the vending machine didn't match his movements. The mirror in the bathroom showed a dark cabin behind her. And Rachel, she was standing across the courtyard staring. Emma whispered, "We never really left." Part 15, the sleep that never ends. That night, Emma dreamed of the cabin. In it, she saw all of them: Tyler, Sarah, Rachel standing in the living room, unmoving, eyes black. In the mirror, Emma saw herself still inside the cabin. She woke up screaming, but the room was wrong. Old wallpaper, a creaking sound. She turned to the mirror. Behind her, Nick, eyes hollow. He whispered, "It's your turn now." Then everything went dark.